All right, baseball fans, welcome to Lions Field in Waconia, Minnesota. Opening round action in the 2021 Class C baseball amateur state tournament. We are working our way through the opening round here. Game 2 of 4 slated for here in Waconia today. They're also playing over in Chaska and in Hamburg, as we've got 16 first-round matchups to get through here this weekend, and then on to the second round next weekend. So the winners of this one will advance into the second round, while the loser will see their season come to an end. So it's one and done in the state Class C baseball amateur tournament. And it will be the Hanska Lakers, Hanska down from Brown County in southeastern Minnesota, taking on the Fergus Falls Hurricanes. Fergus Falls, central Minnesota area by Alexandria. So north and south once again meeting here. We've seen that a lot over the course of this tournament. So for Hanska, it's going to be Mitch Porter. He's going to be starting on the rubber. And for Fergus Falls, for Fergus Falls, it'll be Mark Schomer, who's the starting pitcher. Hanska, the Lakers, leadoff batter will be Kevin Larson. And I was right, it is Mitch Porter for Fergus Falls. His first pitch misses outside to Kevin Larson, the shortstop. Eric Portner bats second, the center fielder. And there's a strike call. It's a 1-1 strike here to the leadoff hitter for the Hanska Lakers. Chris Knowles, the second baseman, bats third. Gabe Knowles, the right fielder, will bat fourth. Brady Mosenden, third baseman, will bat fifth, up and away with that 1-1 offering. So 1-1, 2-1 now. First baseman is Sam Knowles. We've seen that a lot here over the course of the tournament. A third of the lineup will be made up of guys sharing the same last name. Strike called. Lucas Freeland is the catcher. He'll bat seventh. Matt Seuss, the designated hitter, bats eighth. And then Derek Wilfert in right field will bat ninth. The left fielder, Derek Wilfert. We'll get you that Fergus Falls lineup as they come up for the bottom half. Fergus will be the home team here this afternoon. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now missing away is Porter with that offering. 3 balls and 2 strikes now. Good job by the leadoff hitter, Kevin Larson. Seeing a lot of pitches here. Working the count. And swings and fouls one back to the screen. And out of play. So we'll do it again. Swinging another foul. Out of play down the left field line. But Mitch Porter, just a 20-year-old, plays his college ball at Concordia Moorhead. From Breckenridge, went to Breckenridge High School. Ground ball, second base, one step to his right. Couple of shuffles and up with it is Carter Thielke. He'll throw it over to Thomas Bozak. And the first out is recorded, so Porter wins that battle against Kevin Larson, gets him to roll it over to second base. Thielke, a step or two to his right, and then a couple of shuffle steps, and made the throw over to first. A little bit low, but Thomas Bozak, no problem digging that one out of the dirt. Porter misses away with that offering. Defensively for Fergus Falls, Bozak at first. Sean McGuire is the catcher. Thielke, second baseman. That one gets through right between the legs of our home plate umpire and back to the backstop. 2 balls and no strikes now to Eric Portner, facing Mitch Porter. here, the second batter of the game. There's one away. We're just underway here from Waconia. Opening round of the Class C State Baseball Tournament. Strike on the outside corner from Porter. Darren Stanislawski plays third base for Fergus. Alex Hench, the shortstop. Alex Hexum, Jack Heidemann, and Jake Anderson from left to right in the outfield. Here's a bunt that's laid down. It's a good one, barehanded. Great throw. Great play by Stanislawski there as he had to charge in, barehanded, make a good strong throw on an excellent bunt by Portner, but a better defensive play by Darren Stanislawski. And he gets Portner by a step at first base for out number 2. So the young 20-year-old Mitch Porter towing the rubber for Fergus Falls. He works from the stretch. And this is down low. So even with nobody on base, he works from that set position. Sometimes that can be an advantage for a pitcher when they don't lose their rhythm if they're going from the windup and then have to go to the stretch with runners on base. When you go from that stretch position at all times, you're very comfortable when you do get those base runners on the base paths, and you have to hold them on and shorten up that stride and that delivery a little bit. Porter has now missed on a couple. 2-0 aggressive swing from Chris Knowles, the second baseman, but lifts it foul. The wind is blowing in here at Lions Field. It's not quite blowing as strong as it had been earlier in the day. The flags are just kind of waving out there. They got one out in right center next to the scoreboard and then one down the left field line. But it's certainly not going to help any balls carry out into the outfield today. And balls that are hit down that right field line will get affected as well. Now a little humpback liner that Thielke will get over and put away. So 1-2-3 inning for Mitch Porter and the Fergus Falls Hurricanes. And we'll be back with the lineup and opening batter for the Fergus Falls Hurricanes after this timeout from PrepSpotlight.tv.
Amateur baseball is one of Minnesota's great sporting traditions. The state tournament brings together hundreds of communities in late summer at great ballparks all around the state. Coverage of every game can be found on PrepSpotlight.tv. PrepSpotlight.tv's coverage of today's state tournament game is made possible by the Minnesota Baseball Association, and also with help from the Minnesota Twins. Celebrate Town Ball with the Twins on September 11th. Visit twinsbaseball.com/townball for details. Now let's get to the ballpark.
So Hanska will go with one of their drafted pitchers here to open up the Class C state tournament. They're going to send 21-year-old Mark Schommer. He pitches for the Cyril's Grizzlies during the regular season, went to high school at New Ulm, pitches for the University of Mary out in North Dakota in the NSIC conference out in Bismarck. So they'll hand the ball off to one of their drafted players to try to get him through this first round game, and he will face for Fergus Falls the right fielder Jake Anderson, Alex Hench, the shortstop, bats second, Sean McGuire, the catcher, bats third, Darren Stanislawski, who made a good play defensively in the top of the inning, bats fourth, Mitch Porter is the pitcher DH, bats fifth, Jack Heidemann, center fielder, bats sixth, Alex Hexum in left field, bats seventh, Carter Thielke, the second baseman. He had a couple of plays in the top of the first inning to get him into this game. He'll bat eighth, and Thomas Bozak is the first baseman and will bat ninth. Strike call into Anderson, and now another pitch right back for a strike. So good pop early here for Schommer. Got that college experience, wasting no time here at 0-2. He just comes right back in against Jake Anderson, the left-hander, fouls it back behind home plate. So we remain right here at 0-2. Let's see if maybe Schommer doesn't change things up a little bit. Does. It's a little looper out in front of second. Going to be a tough play. And they get him at first. So a nice play coming from his second base position there. Chris Knowles had to come in on that little looping line drive that really wasn't hit very hard out of that left-handed batter's box. Jake Anderson was hustling down the line, but a good throw from Chris Knowles over to Sam Knowles, and they were able to get Jake Anderson by a half a step going down the line, and the first out of the bottom half of the first inning is recorded on a nice defensive play by Chris Knowles at second base. Now here's Alex Hench. Takes a ball and then swing and a miss at the 1-0 pitch, and now even count. 1 ball and 1 strike to the shortstop for the Hurricanes of Fergus Falls. 2 balls and 1 strike. Fergus Falls also elected to pick up 3 pitchers from area teams. They picked one up from Urbank, Parker's Prairie, one from Long Prairie, and one from Sauk Center, as the 2-1 offering is swung through by Alex Hench. And it's two balls and 2 strikes, and then now 3 and 2 as he missed with an offering in between that swing and a miss. So full count. And strike 3 on the outside corner. Hench knew it. He just winced and headed back to the dugout. Thought maybe that one was going to slide outside, but it catches the outside corner, and our home plate umpire rises up and punches out Alex Hench for out number 2. First strikeout of the ball game. First pitch swinging. Sean McGuire chops it over towards the Fergus Falls dugout. McGuire also plays at Concordia Moorhead. Chopper to short. Up with it. On to first. And they get him by a half a step as well. McGuire didn't like the call. He thought he beat that one. But Kevin Larson fielded it. It wasn't a very hard hit ball. Larson made the throw across the diamond and just nipped McGuire at first base. So both teams go down 1-2-3 in the first inning. And we will head to the top of the second. 4, 5, and 6 coming for Hanska. Knowles, Mazenden, and Sam Knowles. Chris Knowles will be the leadoff hitter. And we'll be back with that action for you after this quick timeout on PrepSpotlight.tv.
Nobody does high school sports like PrepSpotlight.tv. Your home for Minnesota State tournament action is also where you can find the best weekly action during the regular season in 2021. We make it easy to be a high school sports fan at PrepSpotlight.tv.
As we mentioned here, first round games taking place at 3 different venues around the metro area here. Waconia, Hamburg, and Chaska all hosting games at their respective beautiful town ballparks. Waconia Lakers are a top seed in this tournament. They won Region 7. They will await their opponent. Game that will take place at 4:30 over in Chaska. The winner of this one gets the St. Martin's Martins, the winners of Region 15. That'll be Sunday, August 28th at 1:30 p.m. over at the Chaska Ballpark. One and done here. Win and go home. So you want to throw out one of your top pitchers for sure in this first round game, and seen a couple of times now where teams have chosen to go with their drafted players, as Gabe Knowles grounds one hard right back up the middle for a base hit. Knowles played his college ball at the University of Minnesota, so obviously got to be careful with him today as Division I level player playing in this state amateur tournament. He should actually be a tough out for Fergus Falls to get, and he proved it right there by grounding a hard single to lead off the top half of the second inning, and he'll turn it over to Brady Mosenden. Mosenden played at RCTC down in Rochester. Veteran player, 32 years of age. Misses outside. It's 2 balls and no strikes. So for the first time today, Porter has had to work with a base runner on the base paths. And he missed with the first 2 offerings, so Mosenden might be able to sit on something here from Porter, but catches the outside corner. Good pitcher's pitch there. Boy, 2 balls and no strikes. Hitter can kind of sit dead red on you there, but when you can paint that outside corner, really a good take there by Mosenden, because he's probably just going to roll that one over in the infield if he tries to do anything with it more than just shoot at the opposite field. Now he watches a breaking ball spin high and out of the zone, so back ahead in the count. 3 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first. Again, an opportunity maybe for Mosenden to sit something dead red here. And the pitch misses low. So we've got 2 base runners now for Hanska with nobody out. And Sam Knowles will step in. Sam Knowles, the first baseman. Just a youngster, 17 years of age, still in high school. Plays for New Ulm Cathedral High School. Squares the bunt, puts it down, gets it down that first base line. Good bunt. It's fielded over there by Bozick. He gets it over to Thielke. And they get the out on Sam Knowles, but the youngster does the job. Lays down an excellent bunt. So sacrifice 3-4, and you definitely see a lot more of that in this state amateur tournament and in amateur ball, because when you play with the wood bats, definitely want to try to manufacture runs anytime you get an opportunity. So you definitely see a little bit more of the sacrifice type of game played here with the wood bats. Get those runners into scoring position as Lucas Freeland, the catcher, steps in, takes a big hack at that first offering from Porter and swings through it. Freeland also played at Rochester Community College. Swing and a miss. But Porter challenging Freeland right away here with runners at second and third. Even though first base is open, he has come right at the number 7 hitter in the order for Hanska. Got him with 2 swinging strikes to start this at-bat, so no balls and 2 strikes. Freeland will ask for time and has it granted by our home plate umpire. Big spot early here. 2 runners on. Second and third, just 1 away, but 2 strikes on the batter. And that one gets past the catcher and will go to the backstop. So on a passed ball, pitch that was just barely off the plate, it just ticked off the edge of Sean McGuire's glove and went back to the backstop. And there is a ton of room behind home plate here at Lions Field. Anything that gets past the catcher is definitely going to be an opportunity for the runners to move up a base. And right there, Hanska takes full advantage of the pass ball. So a mistake by McGuire and the Hurricanes allows Hanska to get on the board first. Curveball misses outside. Really something we've seen here. It's the teams that have executed defensively that really have had the advantage and won the games that we've seen played here at Lions Field in the last 2 days. And a swing and a miss, so a big strikeout for Porter there. And it's 2 away now here in the second inning. 1 run in for Hanska. And Matt Seuss will step in. He'll try to pick up his teammate Freeland, see if he can't get that runner Mosenden in from third base. And again, another pass ball that McGuire just simply missed. I'm not sure what is the situation with Sean McGuire currently, but again, that pitch was not far off the strike zone, just a little bit outside, and that one barely touched the edge of McGuire's glove before going all the way to the backstop, and no chance to throw out Mosenden coming home from third. So on the benefit of 2 pass balls, the Hanska Lakers have grabbed a 2-0 lead here in the top of the second in this one, as Matt Seuss fouls that one down the right field line and out of play. Even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. That one's down low in the dirt. McGuire is able to backhand that one. That was a much tougher play there than either of the 2 that got past him to allow 2 runs to score. So McGuire's really going to have to bear down here and focus, as Porter, neither of those pitches were in the strike zone by any stretch of the imagination, but certainly balls that you would expect the catcher to handle for the pitcher. Keep that ball in front. So McGuire, the catcher from Concordia Moorhead, allows a couple of pass balls that gives Hanska a couple of free runs here in the top half of the second inning, and they lead it 2-0. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Seuss, as Porter missed upstairs and spins a curveball upstairs as well. Seuss, the designated hitter, he's a veteran player, 35 years of age. Is Seuss, actually make that 37. And this is inside, so Seuss will take the walk. Battles hard in that at-bat. Gets on base for Derek Wilford, 9th hitter in the order. Wilford played at UMD, but he's also a veteran player at 33 years old. Takes a called strike from Porter. So you got the 37-year-old Seuss on at first and the 33-year-old Wilford. That's the beautiful thing about amateur baseball. Youngsters, we saw Sam Knowles, just 17 years of age. And then 2 batters later is Matt Seuss at 37 years of age. So it's a game for the young and those who are past their college playing years, but an opportunity to continue to play the game that they love. As Wilford takes a curveball high, so 1 ball and 2 strikes now to the number 9 hitter in Hanska's lineup. Chopper, Porter gets it on the 1 hop, step and throw. Good throw across to Bosek at first. So that'll complete the top half of the second inning, but not before Hanska really is kind of gifted a couple of runs there by Sean McGuire behind the plate with a couple of pass balls in the Fergus Falls Hurricanes. So Fergus Falls dig themselves a little bit of a hole here, 2-0, as we've completed an inning and a half of play. A lot of ball left to be played in this one. We play a full 9 innings here in this state Class C baseball tournament. And fans, the state amateur tournaments are now in full swing. The Class B and C tournaments will be played out over the next 3 weeks in Waconia, Chaska, and Hamburg. Get out and support your community, or if you just love the game of baseball and want to watch win or go home games at fantastic venues, there is nothing like tournament time. If you can't make it to the games, prepspotlight.tv/townball has packages that will make watching all the venues very affordable. Enjoy the tournament at the park or right here on PrepSpotlight.tv. All right, bottom of the second inning coming, and as Hanska had in there half of the inning, it will be 4, 5, and 6 to start things off, and Darren Stanislawski will step in for Fergus Falls. Drive out into deep left center field. That one's headed for the gap. That's going to one-hop the wall. Stanislawski is around first, and he will check in at second with a leadoff double. So Stanislawski got a pitch up in the zone. He did not miss it. Drilled it into the gap in left center field and checked in with a leadoff double. So Stanislawski, 29-year-old, played his college ball at Mayville State in North Dakota. Get things going for Fergus Falls here. And Mitch Porter will step in. Runner at second base. Chalmers' pitch catches the inside corner. No balls and one strike to Porter, so Fergus Falls trying to respond in kind to the two-spot put up by Hanska in the top of the inning. They get a leadoff double. Now pitch just misses off the outside corner. Even things up at a ball and a strike. Porter, the pitcher, designated hitter. Concordia Moorhead product or player. He's just 20 years of age, so he's got college years left to play for the Cobbers up there in Moorhead. Chalmers spins a nice curveball in on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes, but actually that should be a pitch that Porter is looking for there, something he can hit to the right side, and there is a massive hole as they are holding on the runner at second base, Stanislawski, with the second baseman, Chris Knoll. So literally the entire right side of the infield is open for Porter here. He tried to shoot one that way, but just missed it foul. That pitch got in on him a little bit. Now he swings and misses and strikes out. So second strikeout of the game for Mark Chalmers. And Heidemann will step in, the center fielder. Heidemann also played his college ball at Concordia Moorhead. See a lot of players from Fergus Falls Community College and Concordia Moorhead here on this Fergus Falls Hurricanes roster. And a strike called to Heidemann. Chalmers checks Stanislawski at second. Swing and a foul back to the screen. No balls and 2 strikes. These players who either are playing college or just finished up their college careers have to make that adjustments to the wood bat versus the aluminum composite that they use in college ball. Swing and a foul back to the screen. So at 0-2, it really looks as though Chalmers does not like to try to get these Hurricanes to try to chase something out of the zone. He's come right at these batters, even went ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Curveball is grounded to second. Easy play for Chris Knowles. Tosses it over to Sam Knowles for the second out of the inning. That's actually what Fergus Falls was hoping to see Mitch Porter do with his at-bat. That would have moved the base runner Stanislawski up to third with just 1 out, but Porter went down on strikes, and now the soft ground ball to second base is the second out of the inning, and it'll leave it up to Alec Hexum. Takes a pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Swing and a miss. By Hexum. Fergus Falls Junior College, and there's a pitch that's scooped out of the dirt by Lucas Freeland. Again, that's where it can get a little bit dicey. You get ahead 0-2 and try to get the runner or the batter to chase something out of the zone, but with that runner at third, that puts a lot of pressure on that catcher. Keep that ball in front, anything gets past them, and that run can easily come in and score. There's very little opportunity to throw out a base runner on any sort of wild pitch or passed ball here at Lions Field due to the amount of room that there is behind home plate. Chopper foul at 1-2 by Hexham. Now a swing and a miss. Fist pump on the mound from Schomer as he will stride off the mound, take some fist bumps from Freeland and the rest of the Hanska Lakers as he goes back to the dugout. So they strand a runner at third. The leadoff double is stranded over there at third base. And we have completed 2 innings of play. The Hanska Lakers lead the Fergus Falls Hurricanes 2-0 here from Lions Field in Waconia. And we'll be back here after this timeout on PrepSpotlight.tv.
Celebrate the end of the 2021 Town Ball season. Join your teammates, rivals, and ball fans from around the state at the Twins game on September 11th. Special ticket pricing for Town Ball players and fans. Salutes to the newly crowned champs and a very fun night at the ballpark. Order your tickets at twinsbaseball.com/townball and wear your town's team colors to Target Field on September 11th.
All right, off to the top half of the third inning. Be the top of the order for the Hanska Lakers. They lead this one 2-0. Larson grounded out to Thielke at second base in his first at bat. Porter, the right-hander, back out there. Off-speed delivery is in for a strike. 1-1 to the leadoff hitter for the Hanska Lakers. That one slipped out of the hands of Porter. Tried to spin a curveball in there and lost his grip on it. So even the count up at a ball and a strike. We work our way here through this first round of the tournament. 16 teams will advance and 16 teams will go home. That one Porter got a nice grip on and spun a curveball in there. Backdoor job that cuts across that outside corner for a strike. So 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Kevin Larson. Chopper Thielke ranges to his left, comes up with it. Little underhanded submarine type toss to Bosick. And for the second time in 3 innings, Kevin Larson is retired for 3 on the putout. I'll bring up Eric Porter on the outside corner for a strike. Porter, another veteran player on the team, 35 years of age. Played high school ball at New Ulm Cathedral, as many of these Hanska Lakers did. So Hanska down in Brown County near New Ulm, just off the Wisconsin-Iowa borders down there. Definite range and mix of players. As I'm looking, all but 4 players on the roster played their high school ball at New Ulm Cathedral, spanning a variety of different years. 1 ball and 2 strikes now, the count to Portner. Chopper up the middle, going to be a tough play. I don't think they're going to be able to get him. No chance. So that chopper went over the head of Portner out of that left-hand batter's box, hustling down the line. Thielke fielded it, made a throw, but not nearly enough time to get the hustling Portner going down the line, and it'll bring up Chris Knowles. Knowles, one of the younger players on the team, just 19 years of age, plays college ball at Gustavus Adolphus. Check swing, and just chopped foul. Unhappy with himself there, as that pitch was probably going to be outside of the strike zone, but got a piece of it with the bat and just chopped it foul. So instead of being ahead in the count at 1 ball and no strikes, he finds himself behind. No balls and 1 strike. As with 1 out, Eric Portner leads at first. Not much of a lead over there. Ground ball to third. Second for 1 on to first. Not a chance for a double play, and actually the ball gets past Bosick and hits Knowles going down the line. He had to hop kind of there to get out of the way, so Stanislawski fielded it, threw it over to Thielke. Thielke went to make the turn, but his throw was a 1-hopper. Got past first baseman Bosick and hit the base runner Knowles in the leg, but it looks like he's going to be okay. And that'll bring up Gabe Knowles. As mentioned, the 24-year-old played college ball at the University of Minnesota. Swings and lines one hard out into right field, but it's going to be right at the right fielder, Jake Anderson. So first pitch swinging. Gabe Knowles put good wood on that one, but hit it right at Jake Anderson in right field, and they're able to get the third out of the top half of the third inning, and Porter puts a 0 up on the board for his Fergus Falls Hurricanes and gets them back into the dugout. See if they can't get something going here against Mark Schaumer, who so far has given up just the 1 hit, the leadoff double in the second to Stanislawski, but has retired the other 6 Fergus Falls Hurricanes that he has faced. And we'll be back with the bottom half of the third for you after this timeout on PrepSpotlight.tv.
The Town Ball Tour. Head to the small towns and tell people what it's all about.
A lot of excitement. Weather is fantastic.
This place has been here since the early 80s.
This is a baseball town.
The town is here. The kids are here. It's safe. It's a wonderful environment.
We certainly met some wonderful characters.
Thanks for joining us for another season of Fox 9's Town Ball Tour.
And so we talked about that teams are starting to make their way through this tournament. 16 teams with a bye, winners of the 16 regions, await the winners of these play-in games. And right now, the Hanska Lakers and the Fergus Falls Hurricanes are playing for the privilege to take on the St. Martin Martins over in Chaska at 1:30 next Sunday. So being played out over 3 weekends does allow you to kind of space out your pitching a little bit. Most of these teams have drafted additional arms to help them get through this tough schedule, but in a one-and-done tournament, you got to get through those games. As a 1-1 pitch by Thielke is grounded into right field for a base hit. So Thielke didn't try to do too much with that pitch, just grounded it in the hole between first and second base, between the 2 Knowles, Chris and Sam at first and second. And now Hanska is going to huddle up between their entire infield, talk things over. They feel like Thielke is a threat to steal here, and how they're going to handle that situation. Thielke also just a youngster, just 17 years of age, so the high schooler from Fergus Falls High School. Second baseman Thielke gets a leadoff base runner on. Now Fergus Falls is going to go for the bunt. with Thomas Bozak, and he bunts it right back into himself. That pitch just kept riding in, and he attempted to bunt at it. And again, it's got to be one of the pet peeves from a coach or a manager. Don't bunt at balls. You got to make sure that that pitcher throws a strike for you to bunt. You're just giving yourself up if you're going to bunt at a ball. Make them throw it across the plate. If they want to throw 4 balls to you, you're going to do the same exact purpose. Get your runner to second base, but you're going to save the out and you're going to put another runner on. So just got to make sure that it's very clear to these batters. You got to get a bunt at strikes. Don't bunt at balls. So bunting that one foul put Bozak in the hole at no balls and 1 strike, and then Schaumer misses with one. Low and away. Good job by Freeland to keep it alive. Line drive, base hit into center field. Bozak with a base hit. So now the number 8 and 9 hitters in the order for Fergus Falls are on base for the top of the order in Jake Anderson. So we'll see how Fergus Falls wants to play this one. Down by 2. But you get your 8 and 9 hitters on for the top of the order. We'll see if they have Anderson laying it down. Hanska's definitely expecting that, as both Mosenden and Knowles are inside the line, and there is a bunt. It's to Mosenden at third. He's up with it and makes the throw over. Perfectly executed sacrifice bunt by Jake Anderson. That's what you want to do. Bunt it to the third baseman. Make him make that play. Then there's no chance that they can get that lead runner at third base, because that third baseman's got to vacate his position in order to play that bunt. So moving the runners up to second and third was Anderson. And now Alex Hench, the shortstop for the Hurricanes, 29-year-old, played college ball at Fergus Falls JC. Chopper, and it is fielded. Now they're going to have the runner trying to come home, and the tag is put on, and they got him. So a little chopper back to Schaumer. Thielke went partway down the line. He slammed on the brakes, but Bozak, out at second, went all the way to third. So Schaumer got the out at first base, and Thielke had no choice but to try to score from third. And Sam Knowles threw a strike to Lucas Freeland, who put the tag on Carter Thielke and ended the would-be threat for the Hurricanes. So Hench's little chopper looked like it might get over the head of the pitcher. That's what Carter Thielke was thinking. So he came partway down the line, slammed on the brakes. I think he was going to be able to get back to third base safely, and they were just going to be able to get the out on Hench at first base. But then the runner behind him, Thomas Bozak, just kept going for third base. So they would have had 2 base runners on third base had Thielke not then tried to make a break for home plate. Took a good throw, but Sam Knowles did just that. Fired a strike over to the catcher, Lucas Freeland, who applied the tag, and they cut down Thielke at the plate and ended the second and third one-out threat for the Hurricanes by giving up no runs. So we're through 3 innings of play. Hanska leads this one 2-0, and we'll be back with the top half of the 4th inning for you after this brief timeout on PrepSpotlight.tv.
Celebrate the end of the 2021 Town Ball season. Join your teammates, rivals, and ball fans from around the state at the Twins game on September 11th. Special ticket pricing for Town Ball players and fans. Salutes to the newly crowned champs and a very fun night at the ballpark. Order your tickets at twinsbaseball.com/townball and wear your town's team colors to Target Field on September 11th.
All right, top four coming here. Be 5, 6, and 7. Brady Mosenden, Sam Knowles, and Lucas Freeland for the Hanska Lakers. They lead this one 2-0. Porter finds the outside corner on that first offering to Brady Mosenden. Another veteran player, 32 years old for Hanska. Takes another strike. He fell behind in his first at-bat, but was able to work his way back in the count and draw a walk. He scored one of the 2 runs on the pass balls charged against Sean McGuire. So he'll try to come back in this one. A little backdoor breaking ball. That Mosenden, a little defensive swing to stay alive there. Foul that one off, spoil it. No balls, 2 strikes to the third baseman of the Hanska Lakers. Left-hander. Porter goes upstairs with that one. Mosenden not chasing. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 runs, 2 hits on the board for Hanska. No runs and 3 hits for Fergus Falls. They got a base runner in the second, had 2 base runners in the third, but had a would-be run cut down at the plate, trying to score off of the infield ground out. Rolling one over to first base there is Mosenden. Bozic is up with it. He'll take that one all by himself. 3 unassisted is the putout, and there's 1 away here in the top half of the first inning. And now Sam Knowles will step in. The youngster, 17 years old. Maybe still in high school. Check swing down the right field line. Foul. Laid down an excellent sacrifice bunt. In his first at bat, that got the runners to second and third, and both of those runners subsequently scored on the pass balls. Charged against the catcher. Oh, pitch misses in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. To the number 6 hitter in the order, Sam Knowles. Chopper out to Thielke. He'll go down, get it. Make the throw over to Bozic at first. So 3rd time today that Thielke has had an opportunity, and he's been perfect on each one of them. Also, another young player, so the 17-year-old from Hanska grounds out to the 17-year-old from Fergus Falls, so a little bit of youth on display here in this last at-bat. And Porter is able to get Knowles on the grind out, and now gets Lucas Freeland on called strike 1 on the outside corner. And that one misses off the outside corner. Freeland, one of the players who did not play his high school ball at New Ulm Cathedral. He went to St. James High School down there in the southern part of the state. Goes after a high fastball from Porter there and swings through it. 1 ball and 2 strikes now is the count. 2 away here. Top half of the 4th inning. And call strike 3 on the outside corner. Freeland knew it. He threw his head up. Knew that he had got caught looking there. So a quick 1-2-3 inning, efficient for Porter. Gets those Fergus Falls Hurricanes back into the dugout. See if they can't whip up some sort of offense, the Hurricanes. Here in the bottom half of the 4th inning, they trail it by 2 runs. They've out-hit Hanska 3-2, but it's Hanska who has put the 2 runs up on the board and lead this one by a count of 2-0. Fans, the state amateur tournaments are now in full swing. The Class B and C tournaments will be played out over the next 3 weeks in Waconia, Chaska, and Hamburg. Get out and support your community, or if you just love the game of baseball and want to watch win or go home games at fantastic venues, there is nothing like tournament time. If you can't make it to the games, prepspotlight.tv/townball has packages that will make watching all the venues very affordable. Enjoy the tournament at the park or on prepspotlight.tv. All right, so here's the catcher, McGuire. Number 3 hitter, grounded out to shortstop in his first plate appearance and takes a pitch high for a ball. Big swing by McGuire and fouls that one straight back and out of play. So took a good hack at that 1-0 offering, but fouled it straight back and out of play. Now coming inside is Schaummer, and dancing out of the way of that one was Sean McGuire. So 2 balls and 1 strike as Stanislawski will retrieve that ball and get it back into play when they get the opportunity. Now missing low. 3 balls and 1 strike. So McGuire leading off the 4th here. Should get a good pitch to hit. Turns on it. Pulls it foul. It's played over there by our first base coach, and he'll get that ball right back into play. Full count now. Schaummer and McGuire. Payoff pitch. Chopped over the mound. It's going to be a tough play, and the throw is not going to be in time. So Chris Knowles charged, made a good off-balance throw across his body, but that ball was just hit too high and over the head of the pitcher Schaummer and allowed McGuire to hustle that one out. So infield single to get things going for Fergus Falls here in the 2nd. They got the leadoff double in the 4th here. They got a leadoff double in the 2nd from Stanislawski, who steps in now. They got a leadoff single from Thielke in the 3rd, and now a leadoff single here in the 4th. Let's see if the Hurricanes can parlay this one into something. As the first pitch misses, then on the outside corner, getting the strike call is Schaummer. So even the count at a ball and a strike to Darren Stanislawski, the 3rd baseman for Fergus Falls. Big cut by Stanislawski there and fouled it back to the screen. Stanislawski played his college ball at Mayville State, 29-year-old, so been out for a while. Playing his ball now here for the Fergus Falls Hurricanes. Oh, man, that one hit him in the helmet. Oh, boy. Came up and in. You could hear it very solidly go off the helmet. He immediately took the helmet off, and he is walking over towards the dugout. He reached up for his head. Hopefully Stanislawski will be okay here. That pitch just rode up and drilled off of the helmet of Darren Stanislawski. He went right over for the dugout here. So fortunately that did catch the helmet and did not catch any part of Stanislawski's face, but it looks like they're going to get some ice over there for Stanislawski. Can't see into the dugout from our vantage point here, but he reached up right away. Didn't go down. That's probably a good sign that it didn't knock him to the ground, but again, you got to be careful. That pitch was a fastball that just kept riding up and in, and you could hear it crack off of that helmet of Stanislawski. So everybody over in the dugout checking on Stanislawski, making sure that he's going to be okay. Well, that would be a really big loss for Fergus Falls. Clearly Stanislawski is a good hitter as he drilled one out into the gap in left center for a double here and had a couple of very good cuts against Schaummer in that at-bat before that pitch just kept riding up and in on Stanislawski and caught him in the helmet, ricocheted off towards the Fergus Falls dugout. But Stanislavski wasted no time going over into the dugout to get some sort of medical attention. I wish we could have a little better vantage point to see what's going on, and it looks like they are going to get number 14, Austin Stanislavski, is putting a helmet on, so I'm guessing that he might be coming in to take the place of Darren Stanislavski. Austin's the 21-year-old, and yes, he is going to take over for Darren Stanislavski. So let's hope that this is more just precautionary than anything, but always a scary situation when you see a batter get hit up in the helmet area like that. And that was not a spinning curveball by any stretch of the imagination. That was a fastball off the hands of Schamer that just came up and hit Darren Stanislavski in the batter's helmet. Let's see how they handle these things. I'm sure that Schamer had no intention of hitting somebody in the batting helmet here, so he will have to collect himself and regain his composure as there are now runners at first and second, and he spins in a curveball against Porter here. So a good pitch coming back after hitting Stanislavski to get ahead of Porter. No balls and one strike. So runner out at second base. Now bunt is laid down. It's a good bunt. It's down the first base line. Schamer fields and will pick up and get the out at first base, but McGuire moves up to third, and Stanislavski, Austin Stanislavski, in for Darren. Moves up to second. So good sacrifice executed, 1-3 by Porter. And that'll get runners to second and third for Jack Heidemann. Schamer will go from the windup. Heidemann lifts it out into right field. Catch is made. Here comes the throw. It's going to be cut off. They do throw it through then to the plate, but the sacrifice fly is executed. Gabe Knowles made the catch out there, but it was plenty deep enough for Sean McGuire to tag up and score. So Fergus Falls has manufactured a run here in the bottom half of the fourth inning to cut this lead down to 1. Austin Stanislavski had to stay out there at second base as that throw from Gabe Knowles was cut off by Sam Knowles. And a ground ball to the left. It takes a tough hop. Comes up on the second baseman, Chris Knowles. Around third is going to come Stanislavski, and he's going to score. So a tough hop that came up hard on the second baseman, Chris Knowles. It ricocheted, I think, off of his chin. That's the area that he's pointing to. He's up and walking around, so it looks like he is going to be okay. But that little chopper off the bat of Hexum came up hard, hit off of the upper body area of Knowles, bounded away enough to where Austin Stanislavski was able to come around and score. So this ballgame is now tied up at 2 runs apiece as it's an RBI single for Hexum. Looks like Knowles is going to be okay. And stepping in will be Carter Thielke, and he swings at one in the dirt, but that ricochets off the padding of the catcher Freeland and is going to allow Hexum to move up a base to second. So on a wild pitch that Carter Thielke swang at, it went off the protective gear of Freeland, bounded away and gave enough room for Hexum to move up that base to second. Now pitch misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fergus Falls has tied things up at 2 runs apiece here in the bottom of the fourth. Thielke swings and misses at the fastball from Schamer. 1 ball and 2 strikes, so another runner out there at second. Fergus Falls, after a leadoff single and a hit batsman, move him up with the sacrifice bunt. Score on the sacrifice fly and the tough hop single to short right field off the bat of Alex Hexum, and this game is suddenly now tied up at 2 runs apiece. Thielke takes a pitch high. Even the count at 2-2. Curveball chopped. Following that one, catches off the shoulder of Lucas Freeland. He's going to have to shake this off. So what a bottom of the fourth inning this has been. You've had a batter get hit in the helmet by a fastball. You had the second baseman see a hop come up and catch him in the throat. Now you get a foul tip off the right shoulder of the catcher Freeland, and there is very little protection up in that area with those chest protectors. So that's going right against that shoulder and that bone. And Freeland, normally catchers don't like to show any sort of reaction or pain when they get hit, but when it hits you bone on bone like that, it is really tough to not feel the effects of that one. Curveball misses away, so Carter Thielke has worked the count full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 2 runs in, 2 away here in the bottom of the fourth. Fergus Falls has tied this ball game up to 2 apiece and called strike 3 on the outside corner. And once again, no argument from the batter. Thielke knew that pitch caught the outside corner, and he got caught looking, so he'll walk back to the dugout, but not before the Fergus Falls Hurricanes come up with a couple of big runs. They've tied this ball game up at 2 runs apiece. We got a good one for you going here at Lions Field in Waconia. The winner moves on. The loser's season is over. We'll see what plays out here over the course of these last 5 innings, and we'll be back with the top half of the 5th inning for you after this timeout.
All summer long, you have gathered with friends, neighbors, and family at ball yards all across Minnesota.
Still going, gone, a home run.
Diamonds that decorate and help define hundreds of communities. Town Ball binds together our passion for baseball in our hometowns. And on September 11th, the cornerstone of Minnesota baseball, Target Field, will host a party for all those who play, watch, and support Town Ball. The Twins host the Royals at 6:10 p.m. Prior to the game, the newly crowned state amateur champs will be honored at the Town Ball Tavern and during a pregame ceremony. Wear your team colors and enjoy a special night at Target Field.
The 0-2 pitch. Strike 3! Fairmont, state champions in 2020.
To the Fairmont Martins, they are your 2020.
For tickets to the Twins' Tip of the Cap to Town Ball on September 11th, visit twinsbaseball.com/townball.
All right, Matt Seuss will lead things off against Porter here for Hanska. Number 8 hitter in the order. Seuss grounded into a fielder's, or he walked in his first plate appearance. Spins away from a pitch from Porter there after one out of the zone. High, 2 balls, no strikes. Little looper out towards Thielke at second. He hauls that one in, so the youngster out there at second base, Carter Thielke, has been very busy today. That's the second line drive that he's caught off the bat of a Hanska Laker, and he's had 3 opportunities on the ground balls, and he's been perfect in his fielding execution at second base and spinning a curveball in to Wilfert. Is Porter, gets ahead. The number 9 hitter, Wilfert, grounded back to Porter to end the second inning when Hanska did put a 2 spot up on the board, but since then, Porter has held Hanska off the board, retiring 7 of the next 8 batters he has faced. That pitch just misses off the outside corner, so 2 balls and 1 strike now to the left fielder, Derek Wilfert. Line drive down the right field line. They got him played that way. It's drifting away, and a good running catch is made out there in right field by Jake Anderson. So knowing that that wind was going to push that ball towards that foul line, Anderson had Wilford shaded a little bit towards the line and made a good running catch to save what could have been extra bases for Wilford and get the second out of the top half of the fifth inning. 2 runs on 2 hits for Hanska, 2 runs on 5 hits for Fergus Falls. Neither team has been charged with an error, although it's a couple of pass balls against Sean McGuire, the catcher, that really was beneficial in the 2 runs scored by Hanska in the top half of the second inning. Fergus Falls has come back to tie it with 2 of their own in the bottom of the 4th. And a strike call into Kevin Larson. Larson's grounded out to Thielke twice at second base in this one. So 3rd plate appearance here in the top half of the 5th inning. And that one runs inside on Larson. Able to hold up the swing. With that umpire down the first baseline, it would have to be pretty egregious for them to check down there and have him raise up the right arm. So no appeal made, and now Porter spins a curveball across to Larson. Larson obviously not looking for that pitch, because that would have been a pitch that he probably could have got the barrel out and hooked down that right field line, but got caught off balance, watched it go by. Now slices one down the left field line. That's going to get out of play down there. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Larson. Bats with 2 away here in the top half of the 5th inning. Hanska has seen their 2-run lead evaporate here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Fergus Falls tied it up, and strike 3 on the outside corner. Again, Larson knew it, so you got to give these batters credit. At least they're not arguing on those called 3rd strike calls. They know that it's coming, but it really doesn't do you much good as you're heading back to the dugout. A strikeout victim. So on the called 3rd strike, the 3rd strikeout of the game for Porter, it's a 1-2-3 top half of the 5th inning, and we're halfway through this one in Waconia. Good battle going between the Hanska Lakers and the Fergus Falls Hurricanes. We're tied up at 2 runs apiece. We'll be back to Waconia for you after this timeout on PrepSpotlight.tv.
The Town Ball Tour. Head to the small towns and tell people what it's all about.
A lot of excitement. Weather is fantastic.
This place has been here since the early 80s.
This is a baseball town.
The town is here. The kids are here. It's safe. It's a wonderful environment.
We certainly met some wonderful characters.
Thanks for joining us for another season of Fox 9's Town Ball Tour.
All right, Fergus Falls now will come up in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Mitch Porter definitely did his job after his team tied the ball game up at 2 runs apiece. He got them right back into the dugout with a 1-2-3 top half of the 5th inning. And now a pitch misses low to Bozek, the number 9 hitter. So it's 2 balls and no strikes, and now missing again is Schommer. So falling behind the number 9 hitter in the order for Fergus Falls, Thomas Bozek, 3 balls and no strikes. And that one misses low and away, so it is a 4-pitch walk. So for the 4th consecutive inning, the Fergus Falls Hurricanes get their leadoff runner on base. In this case, it's the number 9 hitter in the order, Thomas Bozek, with the base on balls. And now they're really expecting a bunt. The 3rd baseman, Mosenden, is halfway in. And a curveball hangs outside. Boy, that return back throw from Freeland almost got over the top of Chalmers' head. Now 1 step back will go Marsden, and a check on the runner over there. Diving back in safely is Bozek. But they're really expecting the bunt here from the leadoff hitter, Jake Anderson. He has 1 sacrifice bunt already over towards third base, showing no signs of bunting here. So Marsden continues to take a step or 2 back with each pitch, but now that's 6 consecutive misses by Schamer here in the bottom of the 5th, but now finds the strike zone with the 2-0 offering. But again, Anderson showing no signs of bunting, but over at that third base, Marsden does not believe it. He's still well inside the grass over there. So anything that Anderson might shoot that direction is going to get on top of Marsden quickly. But now, as the count goes 2-2, Marsden will retreat back and actually play a step or 2 behind the third base bag. So they are now do not think that Anderson's going to swing, looping a ball out into left field. It's going to hang up long enough for Wilford to get under there. Cap-high catch is made. So Anderson looked to go the opposite direction with that one, but hung up long enough for Wilford to get underneath it and make the catch, and Bozek will have to retreat back to first base here. We'll bring up the number 2 hitter, Hench. Ground ball, that's going to get through the left side and into left field for a base hit. So first pitch swinging, Alex Hench grounds one in between short and third for a base hit. Bozek will check in at second, and now it's going to be runners at first and second with 1 away for the number 3 hitter in the lineup for Fergus Falls in Sean McGuire. McGuire's a lefty, singled, scored a run in the 4th. He came in on the sacrifice fly out to right field off the bat of Jack Heidemann. Curveball spins off the outside corner. McGuire heading the count. That one catches the outside corner, so Schamer gets the benefit of a call on the outside corner there. McGuire will look for something better here. See if he can't get something a little more over the heart of the plate. That one on the outside corner to continue to work away, and he lifts one in the left field. That's down for a base hit. They're going to send the runner home. Here comes the throw. It's cut off by the third baseman. His throw comes over the top, but alertly, Schamer was backing that play up. Wow, that little one-hop line drive out to the left fielder. I was surprised to see the third base coach winding that runner home, Thomas Bozak from second, but he came in. The throw was a one-hopper. It was cut off by Moseden, the third baseman. He turned and threw it home and threw it over the head of the catcher, Freeland, but very alertly backing that play up was Schamer, and was able to catch that one and keep those runners there at first and second base. If that gets over the head of Freeland and back to the backstop, for sure those runners are going to move up at least one base. And if it ricochets far enough away, maybe a chance to score. But really good fundamental baseball by the pitcher, Mark Schamer, there to back up that play at home plate and save at least one base for his team. And now it's Austin Stanislawski batting for Darren, who he came in to pinch run for, and pitched just off the outside corner at no balls and 2 strikes. So runners are at first and second. McGuire with the RBI single has given Fergus Falls the lead here at 3-2. They trailed it 2-0, but have come back with the last 3 tallies of this one. And now a swing and a miss by Stanislawski, so a big strikeout coming there for Schamer. And runners will have to remain at first and second. 5th strikeout of the game for Schamer, and Mitch Porter will come up. Porter has struck out and then laid down a sacrifice bunt that did turn into 2 runs. Checks his swing there, but went way too far on that curveball offering from Schamer. So heading the count now. Still a couple of base runners out there. Alex Hench at second, Sean McGuire at first. On the outside corner for a strike. So Schamer, after giving up consecutive singles to Hench, The RBI single to McGuire. Has come back to strike out Stanislawski. Ground ball is fielded, and a good play out there at the shortstop position by Larson. He made the diving stop and tossed it to Chris Knowles to get the force on McGuire. That ball looked like it might be headed for center field, and another run for Fergus Falls, but Larson with a nice sliding stop, backhand toss over to Chris Knowles, and was able to get Sean McGuire on the force at second base. So Fergus Falls picks up a run. They have now grabbed the lead at 3-2 over Hanska. We've completed 5 innings of play, and we'll be back to Waconia for the top of the 6th after this timeout on PrepSpotlight.tv.
Celebrate the end of the 2021 Town Ball season. Join your teammates, rivals, and ball fans from around the state at the Twins game on September 11th. Special ticket pricing for Town Ball players and fans. Salutes to the newly crowned champs and a very fun night at the ballpark. Order your tickets at twinsbaseball.com/townball and wear your town's team colors to Target Field on September 11th.
And Mitch Porter strides back out for his 6th inning of work here since giving up the 2 runs in the 2nd inning. He has really settled in to the tune of he has now retired 7 straight Hanska batters as he got the last out in the 3rd and then set down Hanska in order in the 4th and the 5th innings. They'll face 2, 3, and 4. Eric Porter, Chris Knowles, and Gabe Knowles here in the top half of the 6th inning. Ground ball that ricochets off the third baseman over towards short. Throw across the diamond. Not going to be in time, so hard one-hopper towards Stanislawski over there at third. It ricocheted off him right to the shortstop, Alex Hench. Hench made the throw across. Have to believe that they're going to credit Portner with a hit there. That was a hard hit ball that got on top of the third baseman. Now they're going to say an error 5 on Stanislawski. Boy, hard hit ball like that. One hop right at Stanislawski, which is maybe why they do charge the error. But boy, that ball got on top of him in a major hurry. Ricocheted off him over towards Hinch at short, but by the time he threw it across the diamond, Eric Portner was in at first base. And a leadoff base runner for Hanska. As a swing and a foul back to the screen by Chris Knowles. Knowles checking his signs down there at third base. Knowles played college ball at Gustavus. In fact, plays his college ball there, just 19 years of age. Check swing on a curveball that misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. No sign of a bunt so far from Knowles. Tying run is on at first base, but with 3, 4, and 5 coming up, it looks like they're going to allow the 2 Knowles and Moseden an opportunity to swing away here. Pitch misses upstairs. Now 2 balls and 1 strike to Chris Knowles. Leans away from a pitch that catches the inside corner at the letters. Knowles didn't like that one. Shook his head. Don't know if he was unhappy with the umpire or unhappy with himself, kind of getting fooled by that pitch. He thought that pitch was going to ride much more up and in on him, but plate umpire says it caught that corner at the letters. So even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ground ball to third. Stanislawski over to Thielke for 1. Back to first. Not in time. So it was hit so hard that Stanislawski had to wait for Thielke to get to second base. It was actually a fairly close play there at second base on Portner, but they got the force there, and then the return throw from Thielen over to Bozek was just a little bit late to try to double up Knowles. So Chris Knowles will take over now at first base, but 1 away here, and Gabe Knowles will step in. The left-hander for Hanska, as mentioned, played college ball at the University of Minnesota, so Division I level player here. Takes a pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Shows a little bit of displeasure, but we'll step back in, try to get a little better one here. Good pitcher's pitch for Mitch Porter there on the outside corner at the knees. Now that one misses away. Confidently taking that pitch was Gabe Knowles. Adjust those gloves. Step back in at 1 ball, 1 strike count. Play Knowles straight away. Curveball, swing and a miss. Good pitch by Porter there. Went off speed. Got Knowles out in front of that one a little bit. So 1 ball and 2 strikes now to the right fielder, Gabe Knowles. Chris Knowles has his lead at first. Porter from the stretch misses away. 2 balls, 2 strikes now, and they throw it behind Knowles over his head. That's going to go into right field. So kind of another ill-advised play by Sean McGuire there. Really didn't have any opportunity to throw out Knowles. He did not have all that big of a secondary lead. But now, after having played clean for the first 5 innings, 2 errors charged on the board against Fergus Falls here in the 5th, and that certainly takes the double play and the force at second out of order, but importantly puts that tying run out there at second base for Gabe Knowles. High and away with the 2-2 offering, so Porter will have to maybe challenge Knowles, but now with that runner out there at second base, first base is open. So you might see Porter and the Hurricanes be a little bit careful with Gabe Knowles here, not just pipe one right down the pipe, but it goes upstairs. Knowles chops it foul. He knows he swung at ball 4 there, but I think Gabe Knowles wants that bat in his hands. He wants an opportunity to drive in this tying run here from second base. 3 ball, 2 strike count, and misses low and in. So I really didn't want to give Gabe Knowles too much to swing at there as Porter went up and away, and Knowles spoiled that one off, but then missed down and in, and now we're going to get a trip out to the mound. Like manager Dave Johnson. Gonna stride out there, pull the entire infield in, and now they're gonna go to one of their drafted players here to take over for Mitch Porter. Porter will go 5 1/3. gives up 2 runs on 2 hits, but he is responsible for the 2 base runners out at first and second base in Chris and Gabe Knowles. They're going to turn the ball over to the left-hander here. To Alex Kep. He pitches for Burbank Parker's Prairie. So he'll come in with runners at first and second. 1 away here. Top half of the 6th inning. Alex Kep, the 19-year-old, went to Parker's Prairie High School. No college listed, so does his pitching for his amateur team there in Burbank and Parker's Prairie. Up the road from Fergus Falls. I do a lot of pheasant hunting out in that area, and I drive by the Burbank ball field quite often in the fall of the season. Nice little ballpark there, just out of town in Burbank. So Burbank and Parker's Prairie combined to make up a town team up in that central part of the state. So Kep will complete his warm-up pitches here, and he will face Brady Mosenden. Mosenden has walked and scored a run and then grounded out to Thomas Bozek. Mosenden. Third baseman. Bats in a big spot here. Lefty against lefty. Kep comes right in with strike 1. McGuire short hops the throw back to Kep, but there to back it up would have been Alex Hench, so don't think that Gabe Knowles would have been able to move up even if that one would have got past Kep. Swing and a miss by Mosenden. And no balls and 2 strikes, so the left-hander from Burbank Parker's Prairie comes in firing strikes for the Fergus Falls Hurricanes. And the 0-2 offering is swung on and missed, so Alex Kep comes out of the bullpen, gets a big strikeout of Brady Mosenden. And we'll now have to deal with Sam Knowles, the first baseman. 17-year-old high school player from New Ulm Cathedral. So youth against youth here as Kep fires another strike across. A lot of Keps up in that Burbank, Millerville, Brandon, Evansville area. Clitheroe. Time is called in the batter's box by Knowles, Sam Knowles. So it is a Knowles event going on right now for Hanska. Chris Knowles stands at second. Gabe Knowles is at first base, and Sam Knowles is in the batter's box. Fly ball out into right field. Coming in, calling for it, and making the catch is Jake Anderson. So Alex Kep comes in and throws 5 consecutive strikes to 2 batters, strands 2 base runners for Hanska in the top half of the 6th inning, gets them out of a little 2-out jam, and is able to keep the Fergus Falls Hurricane in the lead here at 3-2. As we've completed 5.5 innings of play. We'll come back to Waconia with the bottom of the 6th for you after this timeout and this word from PrepSpotlight.tv.
Nobody does high school sports like PrepSpotlight.tv. Your home for Minnesota State tournament action is also where you can find the best weekly action during the regular season in 2021. We make it easy to be a high school sports fan at prepspotlight.tv.
All right, back here for the bottom half of the 6th inning. The center fielder, Jack Heidemann, number 6 hitter, so 6, 7, and 8 to face Schaumer here. In the bottom half of the 6th inning, Fergus Falls has come back from a 2-0 deficit to lead this one 3-2. 2 runs in the 4th and 1 in the 5th. Now Heidemann chops one that hits the dirt and ricochets foul over towards the Fergus Falls dugout. Initially, Heidemann thought for sure that one was going to be foul, but then saw that that might ricochet back towards fair territory for the cutout of the grass of the running lane down the first baseline. Schaumer just misses off the outside corner here. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Reaching out and just poking one down the right field line is Heidemann to stay alive. Heidemann had a sacrifice RBI out to right field back in the 4th. That was the first run of the game for Fergus Falls. They've subsequently added 2 more, so they've taken a lead here, 3-2, trying to add to it in the bottom half of the 6th inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Heidemann as that one missed low and away. And there's a looping line drive and over the head of the shortstop Larson and falls in for a leadoff single. 5th consecutive inning now that Fergus Falls has put their leadoff man on base. Been able to parlay that into 3 runs in the last 2 innings, the 3rd and the 4th. So we'll see what they can do with a leadoff base runner here. Squaring the bunt is Hexum. Pulls back on it, takes the strike. Once again, Mosenden is well inside that third base bag, inside the dirt. He can't be much more than 50 feet from home plate. So if Hexum is able to turn on one, a bunt down the first base line. Schaumer's going to have to field that one and makes the throw. Over to the first baseman, Sam Knowles covering. So good sacrifice executed by Hexum. We've seen a lot of that today. Excellent bunting by both of these teams to move runners into scoring position. In our first game, we saw the same thing. It was a 3-0 game, kind of a manufacture runs. First pitch swinging, ground ball into the hole. Great play over there, and they get him at first base. So Larson fielded that ground ball, had to make a strong throw across the diamond to get Carter Thielke, and he got him by a step, and having to stay right there at second base was Jack Heidemann. So Carter Thielke hit a ground ball just to the right of the shortstop Kevin Larson, but he made the play, came up with a strong throw across the diamond, got the hustling Thielke by a step at first, and now it'll be up to Thomas Bozek, number 9 hitter in the order. Bozek has been on base both times. Singled in the 3rd and then walked and scored in the 5th. His run in the 5th right now is the deciding run in this one. It's a 3-2 lead for the Hurricane. Little fister out towards right center field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. And with 2 outs, Heidemann was able to go off on the crack of the bat. So the number 9 spot in the order, Thomas Bozak, 2 for 2, a run scored, and now a little bloop RBI single out into right center field. And Fergus Falls adds another run. So they've scored in 3 consecutive innings, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 1 here in the sixth, and now 1 more here in the sixth. I meant to say 2 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth. That adds up to 4 runs. And that'll bring up the top of the order in Jake Anderson. Takes a curveball away and then a called strike. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Leadoff hitter Anderson 0 for 2. Hard ground ball to second. Backhanded flip from Chris Knowles to Larson covering, and they get the force out. 6-4 on Bozak, but not before. Thomas Bozak comes up with a clutch 2-out RBI bloop single out into right center field and gives Fergus Falls another run on the board. They lead this one 4-2. And Alex Kep looks like he's going to head out there for his first full inning of work. He came in and did the job in the sixth as he came in with 1 out, runners at first and second, but got a strikeout of Mosenden and a fly ball to right field off the bat of Sam Knowles to get out of that threat. And now he'll start his first full inning of work here in the top half of the 7th inning. Kansas State tournament is in full swing. Amateur baseball, the Class B and C tournaments will be played out over the next 3 weeks in Waconia, Chaska, and Hamburg. Get out and support your community, or if you just love the game of baseball and want to watch win or go home games at fantastic venues, there is nothing like tournament time. If you can't make it to the games, prepspotlight.tv/townball has packages that will make watching all the venues very affordable. Enjoy the tournament at the park or here on prepspotlight.tv. Good one going for you here from Lions Field in Waconia. It's a 4-2 lead for Fergus Falls. They found themselves down 2-0 after 2 innings, but they have roared back to score the next 4 runs and lead this one by a count of 4-2. For Hanska, it'll be Lucas Freeland, Matt Seuss, and Derek Wilfert, 7, 8, and 9 to face the left-hander Kep, who had thrown 6 consecutive strikes after getting a swinging strike on Freeland on the first pitch, but then that curveball hangs up and out of the zone, so 1 ball and 1 strike. Foul right back towards us. The protective screen in front of us, 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Lucas Freeland, who has struck out looking and struck out swinging in this one in his 2 plate appearances. So just the 3rd plate appearance here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Make that the top half of the 7th inning for Hanska. Fergus Falls is the home team in this one. They would get that last at-bat if necessary. And now called strike 3. And Freeland really doesn't like that call. He's going to stand in the batter's box. So the first time today we've had a batter make any sort of overture towards the whole plate umpire. That was a curveball that actually ended up down in the dirt. McGuire had to tag out Freeland in the batter's box. So Freeland definitely being the catcher, not liking that call from our home plate umpire, but nonetheless, it was called strike 3, and the first out is recorded. That's the 2nd strikeout for the pitcher Kep. And there's a strike called after missing high to Matt Seuss. Seuss walked in the 2nd and then lined out to Thielke at second base. Curveball is in there for a strike. So Alex Kep has come in throwing strikes here for the Fergus Falls Hurricane. Nice pickup by the Hurricane. Curveball is chopped off Seuss in the batter's box. Umpire will take a look at that baseball, make sure it didn't get scuffed up as it came up and hit Seuss in the batter's box. No doubt about that. So just a foul ball. Stays alive at 1-2 strikes. So Lesh has gone to that curveball now on consecutive pitches to Seuss. Now he busts him up and inside, and that clipped Seuss. So after a couple of curveballs, Kep tries to bust one in on the hands of Seuss, and that pitch just clipped Matt Seuss, the designated hitter, so he will get the free pass over to first base. And it'll be a 1-0 base runner. For Hanska. And bring up the number 9 hitter, Derek Wilfert, who takes called strike on the outside corner. Kep works from the strip, spins one just off the outside corner, tried to backdoor a curveball there, but just missed off the corner. Wilfert 0 for 2 on the day. Grounded out back to the pitcher, Porter. And then flown out to right. Swing and a miss at the fastball. Again, working ahead in the count is Alex Kep. Second inning of work. He came in relief of Mitch Porter. Porter is the pitcher of record. He went 5 1/3. So he is eligible to get the win. As Kep misses up and out of the zone, trying to get Wilfert to chase something. Wilfert, nothing doing. Check of the runner. Ground ball towards second. Thielke will have to hurry. Gets the force out to Hanchett. Second base covering from his shortstop position. Not hit hard enough to be able to try to turn it. Smart play by Hinch there to just go ahead and eat that one. Don't want to throw it away and give Hanska a free base there, because keep that runner at first, keep the force in play. 2 away, don't let that runner get out into scoring position. It was important last inning for Fergus Falls to have a runner at second base with 2 outs, because that little looper out into right center field, wasn't sure it was going to fall for a hit, but because there were 2 outs, the base runner Heidemann was able to go off the crack of the bat and score easily when that one fell safely to the ground. Now rolling one over to second is Kevin Larson. Thielke makes the play, tosses it on over to Bozek. And that'll do it for Larson and Hanska in the top half of the 7th inning. So Hanska still just able to come up with 2 hits on the game. They have 2 runs, but they have not had a hit since the top half of the 3rd inning. They've been stuck there at that 2-run spot. And they've seen Fergus Falls come up with 4 runs. Now we're going to get a pitching change for Hanska. Looks like Aaron Portner is going to come in and pitch. He'll take over for Schammer, who will go 6 full innings. Gives up the 4 runs. All those runs will be earned. So the 20-year-old Aaron Portner, a left-hander, New Ulm Cathedral High School and Iowa Lakes Community College, will take over. On the rubber, so they get 6 innings out of Schammer. And we'll turn it over to Portner here, and we'll be back after he concludes his warm-up pitches. with the bottom half of the 7th inning. All right, it'll be Hench McGuire and Austin Stanislawski here in the top half of the 7th, facing the new pitcher, Aaron Portner, the lefty. Chopper foul, and then a pitch curveball misses high to Hench. But Fergus Falls trying to get a leadoff runner on for the 6th consecutive inning. And it's going to be a ground ball to first, and looks like Knowles is going to gobble that one up and take it himself, so they are able to get the leadoff batter for the first time in 5 innings here for the Hurricane. As the new pitcher, Portner, sees a couple of lefties to start, and Sean McGuire will step in. Good day at the plate for McGuire. After grounding out to shortstop to end the first, he singled and scored in the 4th and singled in a run in the 5th. So 2 for 3 with a run scored and a RBI. Lifts one out into right field. He hit it good, but we talked about that wind. That's really going to hold anything up, and Gabe Knowles has no problem retreating back, hauling that one in. So 2 quick outs here in the bottom half of the 7th inning for the Fergus Falls Hurricane. And Austin Stanislawski will step in. Remember, he took over for Darren Stanislawski after Darren got hit in the helmet with a pitch. But we have looked over at the dugout, and Darren Stanislawski has been walking around, and he's actually standing in the dugout imploring on his replacement, Austin Stanislawski, who takes a called strike at no balls and 2 strikes. So it looks like Darren Stanislawski is going to be okay. Fly ball to center field. Coming in is Eric Portner, and he puts that one away. So a very quick, efficient 1-2-3 bottom half of the 7th inning for Aaron Portner. We'll get Hanska up and see if they can do anything here against the left-hander, Alex Kep of Fergus Falls. They'll need to get something going here. Top half of the 8th inning. They trail it by 2, 4-2, and we'll be back to Waconia after this word from one of our sponsors.
All summer long, you have gathered with friends, neighbors, and family at ball yards all across Minnesota.
Still going, gone! A home run!
Diamonds that decorate and help define hundreds of communities. Town Ball binds together our passion for baseball in our hometowns. And on September 11th, the cornerstone of Minnesota baseball, Target Field, will host a party for all those who play, watch, and support Town Ball. The Twins host the Royals at 6:10 p.m. Prior to the game, the newly crowned state amateur champs will be honored at the Town Ball Tavern and during a pregame ceremony. Wear your team colors and enjoy a special night at Target Field.
The 0-2 pitch. Strike 3! Fairmont, state champions in 2020.
Congratulations to the Fairmont Martins. They are your 2020.
For tickets to the Twins' Tip of the Cap to Town Ball on September 11th, visit twinsbaseball.com/townball.
We move to the top half of the 8th inning. It'll be 2, 3, and 4. Portner, Chris Knowles, and Gabe Knowles to face the left-hander, Alex Kep. Swing and a miss after the first pitch missed low and away, so even it up And a ball and a strike. Alex Kep has come in out of the bullpen for Fergus Falls, firing nothing but strikes. And fires another one across and into the left-hander Portner. Center fielder Portner has been on base twice. He's singled in the third. Reached base on an error, charged against the third baseman Stanislawski in the sixth, but in both of those instances was subsequently forced out at second base on ground balls to third base off the bat of Chris Knowles. Follow back to the screen, staying alive is Portner at 1-2 strikes. And pitch misses low and away. So since a one-out single in the third by Portner, Hanska has had just 3 other base runners and now swing and a miss for strike 3. Third strikeout already here for Alex Kep. So he has come in out of the bullpen, been very effective and very efficient for Fergus Falls. Porter also did a good job through 5 1/3. Kept putting zeros up on the board after that 2-run second inning for Hanska and gave the Hurricane an opportunity to come back. And they've done just that, taking the lead here at 4-2. 1 away, top half of the 8th inning. Chris Knowles will try to get something going here. He is lined out to second base and then grounded into 2 fielder's choice ground out, so he's been on first base consecutive times, but unfortunately did force an out at second base in order to get to that base, and now reaching back and firing one up and out of the zone is Alex Kep. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Chris Knowles. Gustavus Adolphus Gusty. Foul back to the screen. Good cut by Knowles there. Walks across home plate. Really liked that pitch. Thought he could do more with that one than just foul it back to the screen, but that's all he was able to do. Two balls and 2 strikes, now missing away. So for the first time, Alex Kep faces a 3-ball count here. Three and 2 to Chris Knowles. He'd love to get on base. And a swing and a miss. So Kep challenges Chris Knowles and gets him swinging. 4th strikeout in just 2 innings of work here for Alex Kep. He struck out the first batter he saw in Brady Mozenden, and then has struck out Lucas Freeland, Portner, and Knowles. And now 1 hopper back to the mound. Gabe Knowles is going to carry the bat all the way down to first base with him, but Kep snared that 1 hopper out of the air, turned, took a couple of steps towards first base on underhand toss to Bozick. They get the dangerous Gabe Knowles on the ground out. So 2 strikeouts and a ground out back to the pitcher. Very effective, efficient 8th inning for Alex Kep. And Fergus Falls will come up in the bottom of the 8th looking to add on to their 2-run lead. They'll need 3 outs here after their at bat in the bottom of the 8th against Hanska to move on into the next round of this tournament. Hanska's still got 3 outs to play with, but the St. Martin Martins will sit and await the winner of this one. 1:30 p.m. at Chaska next Saturday for the winner of this one. So these teams are starting to work their way into the second round. Sobieski was a winner over Wyndham yesterday. They've made their way into the second round. Dumont with a win over Richmond. They will move on. Carver was able to beat Bird Island. They moved on. The Sartell Muskies beat the Hutchinson Huskies yesterday to move into the next round. The Luxembourg Brewers were a winner. They will take on the Ada Athletics in the next round. In our game previous to this one, the Kimball Cubs moved on. They'll play Alexandria. Watertown beats the Midway Snurtbirds. They will move on to play the Avon Lakers as Mitch Porter steps in. Line drive, one hop to second base. Knowles handles it. Soft toss over to Sam Knowles. That's Chris at second. Tossing it on over to Sam at first for the first out. So Porter hit it good, but on one hop right out to Chris Knowles at second base. Eagle Lake was a winner over in Chaska this morning. They beat Cannon Falls, so they move on. Spring Hill beats Delano. They'll take on New Ulm. Bemidji was a winner yesterday morning here over New Prague. They moved into the second round. Here's another ground ball to Chris Knowles. Off the bat of Jack Heidemann. He handles that one. Kind of a soft underhanded toss over to Sam Knowles. And quickly there are 2 outs on the ground ball. So very efficient work here by Aaron Portner. He's seen 5 batters and he's set down 5 batters. So he's done his job so far. Keeping zeros on the board for Fergus Falls to give Hanska one last opportunity to maybe come back here in the bottom half or top half of the 9th inning. Their last opportunity to cut into this 4-2 lead. Strike on the outside corner due Alec Hexum. Hexum, good day at the plate. Drove in a run with a single in the 4th. Laid down a sacrifice bunt in the 6th, so 1 for 2 for Hexum. And a swing and a foul back to the screen, so 1 ball, 2 strikes now to the number 7 hitter, left fielder Alec Hexum. Trying to get on base here, trying to put a little chink into the armor of Aaron Portner. Fouled off and out of play to the right. I do see someone warming up down in the bullpen for Fergus Falls, but the way Alex Kep has been dealing, I wouldn't be surprised to see him run back out here. Ground ball snared by the pitcher, turns and throws. So Portner fielding that position well. Took that ground ball, snared it in that glove, turned and threw a strike over to Sam Knowles. So 6 up and 6 down for Aaron Portner in his 2 innings of work. And I do see Alex Kep striding back out to the mound. So he'll try to close this one out. He'll try to get a win for his teammate Mitch Porter and get a save credited for himself. The free agent pickup from Burbank Parkers Prairie. Alex Kep will try to close this one out and get Fergus Falls to advance into the second round, where they take on the top seed from Region 15, the St. Martin Martins, next Saturday at 1:30, but 3 outs left to get for Kep and the Hurricane. We'll be back with that for you here after this short break.
The Town Ball Tour. Head to the small towns and tell people what it's all about.
A lot of excitement. Weather is fantastic.
This place has been here since the early 80s.
This is a baseball town.
The town is here. The kids are here. It's safe. It's a wonderful environment.
We certainly met some wonderful characters.
Thanks for joining us for another season of Fox 9's Town Ball Tour.
All right, last chance time for Hanska here. Brady Mosenden, left-handed batter. Takes a curveball. It's a called strike. McGuire didn't handle that one, so once again the umpire has to make a strike call on a pitch that the catcher doesn't handle. Umpires do not like that. They would love that catcher to hang on and frame that pitch for him. It gets away, you get a little chatter from the dugout about how can that pitch be a strike when the catcher can't even handle it, but Kep gets the call, now misses away and then low, so Ozenden trying to work the count here. He walked in his first plate appearance and scored on the pass ball and grounded out 3 unassisted and was a strikeout victim as the first batter to face Alex Kep. Oh, good curveball there, really buckled the knees of Mozenden. Very confident to throw that curveball at 2 balls and 1 strike and get it across for a strike. Swing and a miss. So for the second consecutive time, Brady Mozenden is a strikeout victim of Alex Kep. Kep just has come in here and absolutely fired strikes for the Fergus Falls Hurricane. That's his 5th strikeout in just 3 innings of work here. Curveball misses outside. So after Porter struck out just 3 batters in 5 1/3 innings of work, it's been Kep who's come on here and struck out 5 in his 3 innings. Chopper is foul, and then a pitch that just misses high to Sam Knowles. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hanska needs base runners here. They trail it by 2. Swing and a miss by Knowles. So Kep, rarity that he falls behind in a count, but in both instances now, after getting the count to 2-1, Mozenden struck out, and now Knowles faces a 2-2 offering from Kep and called. Strike 3. Gives a word to the umpire as he leaves, but boy, that certainly looked like a good pitch from up here. And now it will fall on the pinch hitter coming for Freeland here. Hanska's going to send the pinch hitter, Gary Wilfert, will come in, the 33-year-old veteran. So they'll turn it over to a veteran hitter here, and Gary Wilfert to try to keep things alive. 6 strikeouts for Alex Kep after coming in relief of Michael Porter. So Kep just 1 out away from being credited with a save in a victory for his teammate and the starting pitcher, Mitch Porter, but more importantly, a date with the St. Martin Martins next Saturday in the 2nd round of the state tournament. Curveball is in there for a strike. No balls and 1 strike, getting ahead of Gary Wilfert Jr. here. It is Kep, the left-hander. Misses away with that one, so a ball and a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. I thought maybe that first pitch had missed, so the scoreboard was a little slow on the uptick on that one, but we got it correct now at 2-1. And there's a pitch that just misses outside. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Again, Hanska would love to get a base runner on base. That way somebody who able to send one down a line, because getting one out of this ballpark to center field or the power alleys is going to be a challenge today, but certainly at 325 down the line, it could be doable. Kep comes back with a strike call to Wilfert Jr. So 3-2. Now the pitch is swung on, popped up in the infield. Coming in, calling for it is the first baseman, Bozek. He puts it away, and that's going to finish the job for the Fergus Falls Hurricane. They're going to move on in this state tournament. They come back from a 2-run deficit against the Hanska Lakers. Score 4 runs. They get 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, and that's enough for Michael Porter, who turned it over to Alex Kep. Porter will get the win. He goes 5 1/3. Kep gets the final 2 3 2/3 to get credited with the save. 6 strikeouts in 3 2/3 innings for Alex Kep, so a strong pitching performance. Just 2 hits allowed, no hits after 1 out in the 3rd inning by the combined pitchers of the Fergus Falls Hurricane, and they were able to come back and take this game 4-2 over Hanska. It's 4 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors charged against Fergus Falls, 2 runs, 2 hits, and no errors for Hanska. So moving on into the next round of the tournament are the Fergus Falls Hurricanes. They will take on the St. Martin Martins. And the player of the game is going to get an interview down here. First baseman Tommy Bosek, so we'll let you listen in on that interview.
On the 9th hole here, you had great pitching today from your team. Tell us a little bit about how the state tournament's going.
Let's start. Finished a good 5 innings, I think. 2 hits around today's where pitching was the key here today.
Finally hits when you needed to. You faced a really good team out there. When you got that hit when you needed it, what were you thinking in the zone?
I was just thinking of it.
So next week you guys move on to St. Martin. What's it going to be like in preparation for that game?
We've never played it before, but I don't know how it's
Roll Canes, Fergus Falls down to
All right, so that was the player of the game, Thomas Bozak from the 9 hole. Bozak goes 2 for 2, scores a run, drives 1 in. So good production out of the bottom part of the lineup today for the Fergus Falls Hurricanes, and they're able to come up with a 4-2 victory over the Hanska Lakers, and will move on in this Class C state tournament to take on the St. Martin Martins next weekend at 1:30 on Saturday in Chaska. So another good ball game for you here. A wonderfully pitched game by the Fergus Falls Hurricanes. They give up just 2 hits to Hanska, none after 1 out in the 3rd inning, and they're able to close out a 4-2 victory and move on in this state tournament. So for our production crew here from Lions Field in Waconia and PrepSpotlight.tv, it was a pleasure bringing you this game. We got another one to follow here. 4:30 scheduled start between the Austin Greyhounds and the Painesville Pirates. If you got the package, join us for that one. Otherwise, we will talk to you next time you tune in for a game here on PrepSpotlight.tv.